We're just going to review the three essentials that we've spoken about till now, and then we're just going to learn one last thing, and that I call that the Rambam's prime meridian. Okay, the three essentials. Take a look at your notes, which you have. It says here, Kavatarich, the three essentials, Rambam's prime meridian. Number one, the prime meridian, its definition, its function, and what longitude it is. Its definition, it's a longitude. A longitude is an imaginary north-south line that encircles the Earth and passes through the north and south poles. What is the function of a prime meridian? To define what in the world, and literally, what in the world is east and west. Now, once east and west are defined, the date line is at the longitude where east meets west. That's number two. And number three, which longitude is it? Now, both the Baal Hamor, otherwise known as the Razah, otherwise known as the Rav Zeracha Halevi, and the Kuzari, as explained by the Yesod Olam, written by Rav Yitzchak ben Yosef Yisraeli, sets the prime meridian as passing through Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, and we discussed that extensively in other lectures. Okay, so that was essential number one, the discussion of the prime meridian. Number two, what are the definitions of east and west? Well, what we're going to be talking about here is the Chazon Ish, Rav Avram Yeshayahu Karelitz, his interpretation of what he thinks the Rishonim call east and west. East is 1/4 of Earth's globe, starting at Yerushalayim and covering the area from Jerusalem eastward until 90 degrees east of Jerusalem, which, according to his Shita, goes until the shore where China touches the Pacific Ocean. West. What is the definition of west? It's the other 3/4 of the world. The 3/4 of Earth's globe starting at Yerushalayim and covering the area from Yerushalayim westward until 270 degrees west of Yerushalayim. But just to put in a little reminder over here, Rav Yechiel Michal Tuchinsky disagrees with the Chazon Ish, and he sets east and west as equal-sized hemispheres 180 degrees east and west of Yerushalayim. That was the second essential. Now the third essential is west always follows Yerushalayim in time. East precedes Yerushalayim in time. A person in the west will always start Shabbat after Shabbat starts in Yerushalayim. A person living in the east will always start Shabbat before it starts in Yerushalayim. So Friday afternoon in Japan, which according to Chazon Ish is in the west, Shabbat is Friday afternoon in Japan is Shabbat afternoon in China. Okay, and we discussed that at length at different in different lectures. Now we've been talking about setting the prime meridian. Now, in international discussion today in the world, the prime meridian is in Greenwich, England. And that's what all the maps are based upon, prime meridian in Greenwich, England. And the international date line is, by and large, 180 degrees east and west of Greenwich, with some modifications due to country boundaries. In Judaism, the prime meridian, as we have explained a number of times, is Yerushalayim, except for the opinion of the Rambam, Maimonides, that we find in his Mishnah Torah, Hilchot Kiddush HaChodesh, Perek Yud Aleph, Halacha Yud Zayin. And he talks about where is the area in which the new moon is sighted. And so he defines the area as a place surrounding Yerushalayim, and he gives the coordinates of Yerushalayim. From the coordinates of Yerushalayim, you can figure out what he considers to be the prime meridian. And this is what he says. And I'll read it in the English section. And because the sightings of the new moon must take place in the land of Israel, as previously explained, we based all our calculation methods on the city of Jerusalem as our choice of location, and other places surrounding her to a distance of 6 or 7 days. These are places where the new moon is always visible, and the witnesses are able to come to Jerusalem and testify. This area is beneath the equator, towards the north, starting from the 32nd latitude north until the 35th latitude north of it, meaning 32 plus 3, and to the 29th latitude south of it, 32 minus 3. Also, the area includes the 24th longitude west of Jerusalem, the 24th longitude west, which is Jerusalem, until the 27th longitude west, 24 plus 3, and to the 21st longitude to its east, 24 minus 3. So we see from this citation of the Rambam that the actual prime meridian, if Yerushalayim is at the 24th meridian, the 24th longitude, and he says that it's west of the prime meridian, so therefore you have to go 24 degrees east of Yerushalayim to get to what he considers the prime meridian. Okay? Now, in terms of, it's very interesting just to note to the side, the Rambam says that in terms of latitude, Yerushalayim is 32 degrees north, which, by the way, is the generally accepted convention. Yerushalayim is actually 31.778 degrees north. But okay, but that's off to the side. Do you have to know it? I don't know. I might throw it as an extra credit question or a basic question. All right, whatever the case is, no, you really ought to know the coordinates of Jerusalem. So, okay. In any case, based upon Greenwich, England, okay, being the prime meridian, Jerusalem is 35 degrees east of Greenwich. So since, according to the Rambam, Yerushalayim is 24 degrees west of the prime meridian, and Yerushalayim is already 35 east of Greenwich, well, if you take 35 and 24, you get 59. So the prime meridian, according to the Rambam, is 59 degrees east of Greenwich, which cuts through eastern Iran. So let's take a quick look at the map and see where the date lines and where the prime meridians are. Okay? According to international convention, the prime meridian goes through Greenwich, England, right over here, and I did not mark that one dark. The traditional prime meridian, according to the Baal Hamor and the Kuzari, passes through Yerushalayim, right over here to 35 degrees east of Greenwich. Now, based upon this prime meridian, we have our argument between Rav Tukhchinsky and the Chazon Ish as to where the date line is. According to Rav Tukhchinsky, the date line is 180 degrees east and west of the prime meridian, which would set it right here in the Pacific Ocean, cutting through a great deal of Alaska, and setting this whole western edge of Alaska into the definition of the East, which would precede Yerushalayim in its observance of Shabbos and holidays. Similarly, the Hawaiian Islands would be in the East, which would precede Yerushalayim in terms of its observance of Shabbos and Yom Tov. And then everything on this side would observe what is considered the West, and would observe Shabbos and Yom Tov after Yerushalayim. And according to the Chazon Ish, here is your date line right over here. This is where East meets West. See over here, according to Rav Tukhchinsky, this is East and this is West, and this is the place where East meets West, at the date line. But according to the Chazon Ish, here you have your date line right over here. This is the Chazon Ish's chiddush that the date line, if it passes through a landmass, it doesn't, it hugs the shore. So according to Chazon Ish, the date line goes like this: around Russia, not including Japan, around Australia, and on down. And everything on this side of the date line, according to Chazon Ish, until Yerushalayim is called the East, and they all observe Shabbos and Yom Tov before Yerushalayim, and everybody, and so that's 1/4 of the globe, and everybody else to the east of the date line, meaning all of this and all of this is called the West, and they would observe Shabbos and Yom Tov following Yerushalayim. And I hope that's understandable to you. You can listen to this video as many times as you want.